And tonight we have a real special guest. Her name is Rambo. She's a medicine woman and transformational coach, and she loves the frogs. And tonight we're going to talk about sacred medicine 101 and some intentions with these medicines. And I'll let Kat go and introduce herself.
Hey, thank you so much, sweetheart. It's always a pleasure to spend some time with you. And thank you for having me here in your beautiful group. What a warm welcome. And I was so impressed that everyone in your group seemed so enthusiastic about taking personal responsibility for their own experience, for their own process, for their own wellness, that it inspired me to decide to share with you guys today, which is wonderful. So hence the poll that we did, right? And guess what the topic was? Not what I thought it would be. Medicines 101. So this group is about plant medicines, plant path, right? I love that. And also, just so you guys know in advance, this is broadcasting elsewhere. So for those of you who are in my Facebook group or on my YouTube channel, hi. And yes, we can see all of your comments, all of your questions. So as you have questions, type them in. I can see them, presumably. Yes, I can. Send me a little note. Say hi. Say, hey, Kat, can you see me? So I can see if I see you guys. Welcome. Yes, hello. So the way this will work is I'll give you some concepts. We'll go over some different types of medicines that I've categorized into different groups. Ask questions along the way. And then also at the end, we'll leave a lot more space for more questions. So if I don't see your question right away, keep asking me. All right. So we wanted to talk about sacred medicines. And hi, guys. Hello. So it's wonderful. Hop on in between. Absolutely love it. So when we talk about sacred medicines, we have to ask ourselves first, why? Why do this? Why be involved with something like this? And sacred medicines range from the subtle to the serious and the psychedelic. So why invest ourselves time, money, energy into an experience? Why do anything really, right? But a lot of us turn to sacred medicines for healing, right? Healing what? What does that mean? What do we hope to get? And I would like this conversation as a medicines 101 to fit into the framework of why would I turn to each of these different unique medicines for a different or unique experience. So the outcome and intention is always so important. Each medicine has its own message. It has its own pathway. It travels into our system differently, and it passes through our awareness differently. It invites us into a different type of awareness in the experience. So the intention and the pathway will help us determine what medicine we choose to work with. Something else that is relevant to consider when talking about medicines and making decisions about choosing which medicine is about your dose, right? Do you want a journey, or do you want a microdose and make small changes? And these are all equally powerful in different ways. And then also about guidance, right? Guidance is essential. So as we're exploring here, remember to choose an experience which provides guidance. I'm seeing a lot now of people who are turning to these medicines and they're choosing to do it themselves or in a group without proper guidance. And though this can be a wonderful experience, it more often than not can be an endangering one. And I've seen this too. And and if not endangering, then are you really getting the most out of it, right? So we're going to start with so now that we have those frameworks there, I also have to throw it out there. Here's your FDA disclaimer. No, none of these medicines have been FDA approved, right? But guess what? Science is starting to show us what these medicines are capable of doing for us, body, mind, and more. So we are going to take advantage of a little bit of the modern scientific research while we're talking about these medicines today. All right. How's that going so far? Everyone following along? All right. So let me close the door real quick. The dog gets really excited to join in. So I've broken medicines down into 4 groups for ease of understanding, right? So this is the plant medicine group, but we're going to save plant medicine as the last category. So the categories are, I use the word critter, animal medicines, lifestyle, fungi, and plant. Fungi are not plants, so we'll address them differently. They do different things, okay? So I'm going to start with critter because I am a huge proponent and a practitioner of frog medicines. So as we go through each of these medicines, if you have specific questions about how each of these work or about medical contraindications, etc., I do a lot of addressing these questions in private consultations, or in my medicine practice, of course. but it's also worthwhile to be able to offer myself to answer those questions for you here. So our 2 favorite frog medicines are Kambo and Bufo, right? Or Otak. They're both collectively at times called sapo, which just means toad, though Kambo is actually a frog, a tree frog, not a toad. One lives in a moist, wet jungle tree environment, and the other lives in a dry desert environment, almost all of its life underground, right? Very interesting how their form can also become their function. The same is going to be true of the plant medicines when we get to that point. So with frog medicines, we have sort of a really interesting divergence here because though they are both frogs, they are both very different medicines. Kambo is an extremely physical process, though my practice is also very emotional and spiritual. So my participants also have very emotional and spiritual experiences. And I love that about this practice. It can be a very deep energy detox as much as it is a physical digestive system reset. It's being turned to by modern science for the peptides in it. It's got over 100 registered peptides, and it's also really good for inflammation. It's analgesic, which means it helps with pain, chronic pain issues. So my clients have fibromyalgia or cancer. It's really helpful for lymphoma. In fact, one of the things that science is turning to it for is to try and extract some of the compounds that are so anti-tumor, right? Which is really interesting. It's also very antimicrobial, antibacterial, all the good stuff, right? So it's a powerful experience. If you're unfamiliar with Kambo, my YouTube channel has videos on it. You can look it up online anywhere now. It's everywhere. It is important to choose a practitioner that is aware of the modern ramifications of working with these medicines. Oh, hi, Michelle. So good to see you too. Because they have physical interactions with the body, and even jungle training does not prepare us for modern Western application. Very few people in the jungle are on Prozac, right? So we need to know how to address these modern concerns differently than we would in the jungle. And with Kambo especially, it can be dangerous. Anything can be dangerous. Driving down the road can be dangerous. But we want to first do no harm in medicine, right? In whatever variety that may take. I will definitely try Kambo this year. I love Kambo. I love it. Bufo is a completely different type of experience. It's more like leaving your body completely. It's called sky medicine. So it's very much an out-of-body experience. It's very much a visionary state. It's very emotional and spiritual and significantly less physical, though also that too. Anytime we affect one of these spheres, the rest of them will be affected as well. So these 2 frogs have completely different way of working, right? Bufo or 5-MeO-DMT is multiple times the strength of DMT, which is a natural hormone called the God chemical that's in your body. It's released in flood when you have death or near-death experiences. So you can liken a DMT experience to an out-of-body experience similar to a near-death experience. DMT, just DMT itself, I find is a little bit more sterile of an experience. Bufo feels a lot more organic. I love it. It's also very popular where my healing center is in Mexico. So there's a lot of it going around. It's very easy to find a Bufo practitioner. It's not as easy to find a good one. Question, yay. Can Bufo be consumed any way other than smoking? So can Kambo. So there is always a good, an easy way and a hard way. And you can actually consume Bufo other ways, but I honestly wouldn't really recommend it. What part of the frog is used? Is the frog harmed? I love this question. So I'm a huge advocate for frog safety and sanity. Kambo is harvested. I do really want to address that question because I feel like it's important. The ebook that was released that began this conversation was all about finding a good practitioner. And though this isn't in the ebook, I think it's very important. So how the medicines are harvested and prepared, not only is that energy in the medicine, but it also tells you a little bit about your practitioner. So kambo is traditionally harvested by wiping the slime off the armpits of the frog, and there are different ways to do it. So the frog can be tied up by his limbs, like you would drink water or something, and with a little fire underneath, so he freaks out, and when he stresses out, he produces his secretions. There's another way to do it, in the way I get my medicine, and I'm sent videos all the time of my friends down in the jungle who send images of they go into the jungle and they sing their froggy songs, and the frogs just sort of sing back, and they pick up the frog and they sing to him and they wipe his armpits and they put him back on the tree, and that's that. So that does make a difference as to how the medicine is harvested. My medicine is very strong, and I think it is because it is harvested with love, which makes a big difference. Bufo is harvested a little bit differently, but not so differently. It has like warts, glandules on its back, and on its shoulders, and they're popped sort of like zits basically, and it does not harm the frog. It would feel like popping a zit. They don't love it, but no one likes being picked up when they don't feel like being picked up. But again, there's a really aggressive, not friendly way to do this. There's also a really, kind, compassionate, loving way to do this that leaves the frog completely or mostly unmolested. I love that question, and thank you for asking that, because I think that's really important. And I do not believe in frog abuse, and I know that a lot of Kambo and Bufo, and especially Kambo, has just taken the world by storm, which means more practices, more practitioners, more medicine, more awareness, more frogs. So there are places now where they're raising these frogs specifically, sort of like in like a farm setting almost, or like a preserve setting. I like the natural method, but also it's good to be ecologically aware that these frogs do use these secretions for their own defense. I'm vegan, so it's important to me. Yes. So if you're vegan, this is an animal medicine, right? But the animal is not harmed. It would be like milk from a cow. Like the cow is producing it anyway, and you aren't harming, depending on your practices, right? You aren't harming the cow in order to harvest it, or like eggs from a chicken. But if you are zero animal product tolerance, these are from frogs, right? Can you describe what a kambo ceremony feels like? Intense. It usually involves deep purging. So that can be emotional, that can be energetic. I always feel waves of energy coming off of me, and it's very much like an aura cleanse. It feels really good. It often includes a physical purge, both ends, right? You drink water, and again, choose your practitioner carefully, people. I've seen some crazy stories of people drinking like 6 liters of water. That's dangerous. Don't do that. So you drink a bunch of water, you have a small burn. I don't know if you can see any of my spots, probably not. You receive a small burn on your skin via a vine that also comes from the Amazon basin. And the kambo is applied to the open wound directly into the lymph system. You feel like a hot flush, and then you purge. I won't get too much into detail about it because, again, this topic is going to cover a broad variety of things, a one-on-one, right? But if you're interested specifically in these medicines, we can definitely do this again. And also there are videos on my YouTube channel, and there's a lot of resources out there. Some say it's the worst experience of their life. Some say it's the most amazing experience of their life. For most, it's somewhere in between. But if you can do kambo, you could do anything. So we're going to start with that, with the critter medicines. Now, this is just a brief overview of the most popular, and I work with a lot of Amazonian medicines and Western tradition. However, there are scorpion and snake medicines in the East, and we're not going to talk about that too much here. So the next one is we have lifestyle, fungi, and plant, right? I'm going to leave lifestyle for last. I think that would be sweet. Okay, so fungi. Yeah, we all know what that is, guys. That's our psilocybin. That would be mushrooms, right? So they come in a variety of flavors. They come in a variety of spices, and I'm huge into psilocybin mushrooms, or magic mushrooms. That was my first medicine discipline, and I love them daily. I love them dearly, and they are great for microdosing too. Some medicines are best served microdose or journey dose, or somewhere in between. Mushrooms are all variety of in between, and though very popular, I highly recommend to have good respect for this medicine. And it's all about connections, right? So the way we're talking about form following or function following form, form. The way mushrooms grow is what we consume is actually the fruiting body. The main corpus of the mushroom is the mycelium network underneath the ground, underneath the substrate, or in the wood of the tree, or wherever it is that it's growing. Your mulch substrate, if you like. And the mushrooms mycelia, it's like a little network of like little filaments, right? And they all interconnect, and they're trading information, hormones, nutrients, knowledge, maybe, who knows. It is often said that mushrooms may actually be responsible for a great leap in consciousness, in self-awareness, and communication in the human race, that they're part of our evolution. It's also said that mushrooms and fungi were part of the evolution of life on land in general, that the concept that life came out of the water, that the plants that originally came out of the water couldn't survive on the land. The mycelium went in between the roots in order to bring nutrients from the water onto the land so the plants could survive. This is still happening to this day. Some of the largest organisms in the world are actually mushrooms and mushroom networks. They exist underneath all of our soil. And every gardener knows if you don't have that little white filament mycelium in your soil, then it's probably not healthy soil. And so they bring health through connections. So mushrooms are a wonderful medicine to help us feel connected, right? So the frogs combo is about detox and cleansing. Bufo is about leaving the situation and coming with a new perspective, returning the new perspective. Mushrooms are all about connections. So they're very heart opening. They can make you feel good in your body. They can make you feel creative and like you can identify new patterns. A very large journey dose can release fear of death, because you will go through, like with all these medicines, you can go through a death experience, a rebirth. They're being used a lot in end of life studies for terminally ill patients who are finding their quality of life dramatically improved with a loss of the fear of death and a learning of the loving of life and love. So they're wonderful for that type of learning and for that type of experience. They're also really good socially. These medicines, they like to work with each other, but if you enjoy psilocybin in a group, you will see each other's thoughts, and you'll have really cool connection experiences. You'll open up your sense of empathy, right? And even for microdosers, they'll find that their creativity is amplified, their joy is amplified, they're a joyful medicine, and their empathy is greatly heightened. So mushrooms are beautiful for heightening that sense of connection, right? Because that's what they're all about. They're also, all of these medicines do many things, but this would be their main highlights for our 101 today, right? So where are we at now? So any questions so far about psilocybin? There's a lot of questions about that. I'm getting I have a video on my YouTube channel about microdosing specifically. I do a lot of microdosing protocols with my clients, which looks like ensuring the things that we talked about earlier in our structure section, which was guidance, right? Guidance, intention, dose management. So I see a lot of different ways of doing microdosing. I have my way. It's obviously very flexible according to what it is that each client needs, but I also know this medicine very well. So hello, what are the benefits of microdosing? Oh, innumerable. Now, when we talk about microdosing, usually we use that word to refer specifically to psilocybin. However, you can microdose any or all of anything, really. So I would recommend broadening your perspective a little bit on what it is you want to microdose and why, and then that would tell you which medicine would give you the benefits you're looking for. So what are the benefits of microdosing? Well, it's gentler, right? Microdosing helps you form new habits that can be behaviors, emotional patterns, mental rhythms and cycles and patterns of thought. That can be anything in your, emotional blocks or whatever that you want to move on from, patterns in your life. It can help you work on those. So what these substances, especially the ones that improve neuroplasticity like psilocybin do, is they will help you retrain your neurology faster. So they will improve your capacity to form new neural networks. So what this means is it can help with neuropathy and nerve pain, but also what it can do is help form new connections in the brain, which when you're trying to form new habits, new ways of thinking, new ways of seeing the world, new practices, these tools can help make that process more efficient, which is wonderful, right? A journey dose is a singular, intense experience, but there are many ways to learn. And two of the strongest, most impactful ways to learn are: one, profound emotionally charged experiences. That one breakup did us in, right? We all know what one powerful experience can do. And then also through repetition, right? So microdose leverages the power of repetition. It encourages you to seek those new neural pathways sooner, faster, easier. So you will grow into your new self in an accelerated and assisted rate. However, do keep in mind these mushrooms have their own way. Mushrooms are all about connections. The way they look is they're just everywhere, right, in their own environments. So mushrooms, psilocybin magic, goes everywhere. It goes on a party. So it is really helpful to have a very constructive, organized plan for microdosing, for not just how often, what dose, what are you going to be doing, but what do you want to achieve, how you're going to get there, what are your disciplines and practices that you're going to drop in underneath your dose to bring the whole thing to lift you up into whatever your new self is going to be. So I'm a huge advocate for structure and for discipline. I'm a ceremony guide, so I like that. So take that for what it is, but I've also seen the benefits of free form, free for all creativity. But again, even if we're talking about microdosing for creativity, what are you doing that's creative? Right? Do something creative and it will help expand your creativity. Mushrooms will go where they want. So give them a path to go down, and they will happily go there with you. They will speak to you, and they're very all about where you want to go. Okay, let's do it. But you got to choose to speak to them, and good guidance can help you learn how to do that really effectively. It can also give you a framework into which you drop your microdosing practice in order to get the most benefit out of it. If we're going to do it, let's get the best out of it, right? All right, so does that answer the question so far on microdosing? Where are we at? 20 minutes. Wow, time flies, guys. This is so fun. Okay. Does anyone have any issues with the tech? Can you all hear me? Can you see me? Everything looks good? Are you live? Are you replay? Leave me a note. Where are you at? Tell me where you guys are. All right, what's next? So plant medicines. I know this is going to be a fun topic for you guys. So I have created 2 categories because I'm also an herbalist. That all good. Great. Thank you. Awesome. 2 categories. I have broken it down into cactuses, cacti, and other herbs. Right. So we're going to start with cacti. So these, the active component in cacti is usually mescaline, all right, among other things. So it can be very visual. It also can provide tremendous clarity, realizations. It may make you feel racy, but you will suddenly get something, right? It's very much clarity induced. All of these medicines give you an opportunity in a ritual and ceremonial setting, especially. Right. Perfect. Of course, honey, I will. I see you. I'll definitely let you know when I'm wrapping up. We're about halfway through, right? That's great. That these are usually wechuma or peyote. Right. These are both heart opening, right, and ritual and ceremonial setting, and not just the rigor of ritual, which helps us drop into a specific state of mind and an openness of heart, right? But these medicines especially will help us do that. So it gives us a really good opportunity, especially with these guys here, with these cacti, to really plant a seed inside our own mind, to have direct access to our own unconscious mind. And whether that is in a deep meditative state, or if that is with a breathwork exercise, or if that is with a complete visual experience, we have an opportunity to auto-suggest in these spaces with these medicines, these cacti especially. I find that to be very wonderful. Again, structure is always helpful. A good practitioner should be able to guide a ceremony, and not just the environment of a ceremony, but the medicine itself. There should be a conversation there. And that was in my little ebook about how, and I know that I've had some questions from some of you about clarifying what I meant by that a practitioner who offers so many medicines can't possibly be truly committed to one, because each of these teach something different. So how can you live out the message and the teachings? Ultimately, the learning is to become the medicine, especially if you're working with these medicines. There's a soul connection there. You're supposed to be living their message and living out of what it is that they teach you. So how can you live out all these different types of messages with any form of clarity if you're just serving everything that is on the earth and beyond, maybe? But with cacti, the ceremonies are usually intense. They're fast, they're upbeat, they're first. So it's very much about finding your center in the chaos, right? It's very much about connecting with yourself, where you may feel like there's chaos or spinning, where you'll find your center, and you'll be able to decide what it is that is what you really want, what you're really capable of, what you really can do. And I love cacti medicines for self-suggesting. I've had clients go into ceremony, and I don't host cactus ceremonies, but I do live. My healing center in Mexico is on the peyote pilgrimage. We live in a sacred site. So the peyote tradition people will come through, stay at my center, and then keep it moving. And so they'll do their pilgrimage ceremonies, which so amazing to have like tribal elders and record keepers in my house. That's so cool. And so we will bring together a group that would most honor the dignity and of a space like that, and the tremendous opportunity of working with elders and their own tradition. And one of my favorite things to do in these types of ceremonies is to choose an outcome, definitely to choose an outcome. And sometimes it can be as simple as I want to quit smoking, and sometimes it's as big as I want to connect with the cosmos. But choose your outcome, and they will help get you there. Right? So other types, we're going to talk about non-cacti herbs, right? And remember that we're just talking about intentions here. All of these have their own physical ramifications, and it's so important to know what those are. And it's really important that your practitioner knows what those are. And again, the ebook was inspired by a tragedy that should never have occurred, and it came from bad practices and ignorance, and a decision not to educate oneself. And it shouldn't be the responsibility of the participant. You don't need to know everything about your body when you go to see a doctor. You're not supposed to know everything about your process when you go to see a witch doctor either. But there is now an ask that we become more conscientious of what at least to be aware of when looking for a practitioner. But that's on a little ebook. That's not really for this conversation. We're almost there. I know that Mark wants to hop back on and say hi to you guys. So we're going to do herb plants, and then I would like to touch just a little bit on lifestyle medicine, right? So herbs, these can range from the subtle to the severe, right? And I'm an herbalist, so powerful medicine is chamomile, rosemary, and lavender. And especially given a little ceremonial setting, maybe just the love for a cup of tea can do powerful things for the body. And we like to say things, I'm sure that's not what's true in this group, but we often say things like, oh, it's natural. It can't be, what can it really do? But it's not really medicine. But it looks like in a lot of cases, these herbs can be more effective than pharma. I'm not anti-pharma, full disclosure. Modern medicine saves lives. I believe there's a lot of space for us to begin working together more closely, the naturopathic world and the allopathic modern medicine world. And I think herbalism is a really great segue for that to start happening. Psilocybin's actually brought us together in this way too, and so has Kambo, and we'll get to ayahuasca. So these herbs, we're going to flow from medicinal and subtle through to psychedelica, right? Because I know that we're in plant medicine group, which means you guys really like the psychedelica. But keep in mind that in the context of healing, that shouldn't be the point. The point should be the healing. Psychedelia is a benefit, and also, by the way, a great time, and shouldn't be underappreciated, but also shouldn't be the whole purpose in the context of healing, right? To bump it up a little bit, to herbs that can do a little bit more for us. Mugwort amplifies dreams in a visionary state. Valerian, again, dreams, a visionary state. I do a lot of dream work. I told Mark I would say so. I am doing a workshop that's a 4-week series on dream work and visionary states and accessing your own altered states of consciousness, learning how to astral project, lucid dreaming, all of that. It's like a whole journey, right? So these are herbs that we call them enneurogenics, right? Enneurogenics can help us amplify that part of ourselves, which is naturally inclined to what we look to these medicines to give us, which is our own visionary state, our own capacity to learn, heal, grow, see, explore, leave our body and travel, whatever it is that you're into, right? And other herbs that we like to work with in conjunction with other medicines, and also alone in their own thing, the enneurogenics work with the visionary state. So does an herb called Sananga, or medicine called Sananga. It comes from a root that may or may not, we're at apparently there's debate about it, be related to iboga. It's a root that is turned into an eye drop. Talk about opening up your visions. You will close your eyes and you will go look within. It is very spicy. You will not wish to open your eyes and you will have an experience. But again, what it does for anything that it does for the body, it does for the heart, does for the mind, does for the emotions, does for, the spirit. And while it heals your physical eyes, it may actually help with glaucoma and scratches and styes and all kinds of other things, and nearsightedness. And it can improve the color vision and night vision. It's traditionally used in the jungle for hunting because it improves your night vision. Will also improve your third eye visions, right? Open up that third eye while the other two are closed, right? Another often underappreciated but magical herb, appreciated and beloved all around the world, is tobacco, right? It can be in the form of a mapacho to smoke, or hape, which goes up the nose, or traditional North American tobaccos, which were used in ceremonial setting. They do have a physiological effect. They do have a mental, emotional, and spiritual effect. It's also very grounding. It can also be very loosening to your sense of self, which can help you release your heart, open your heart, and connect with others. These medicines are often used for grounding and for clarity. Hape especially is for clarity. Sananga healed one of my eyes from cataracts. Yeah, I hear that all the time, and it's amazing. It is worth a commitment. It is definitely a commitment. It is spicy. Another plant that we love all around the world in ancient texts, in medicines, and in spiritual work has been beloved for forever is cannabis. And in some places it's completely legal, like in Mexico where I live, it's federally legal. They could no longer justify prohibition. US is getting there one step at a time. Other places are also in varying stages of prohibition still, and it's only a matter of time. Cannabis is often considered to make us feel more confused or disoriented. We smoke it to escape our lives. But the truth is, it is a powerful medicine for clarity. In fact, I do a whole ceremonial work around working specifically with cannabis, shamanic techniques for working with cannabis. It is a powerful prayer. And so if you are interested in cannabis, if you do like cannabis, I highly recommend really being with your medicine and taking a moment to pray with it, appreciate it, respect it, love it, and really enjoy it for clarity. It can bring a lot of clarity. Right? A lot of times we'll get paranoid or we don't feel good. And this is because we haven't learned how to work with this medicine, how to focus it. Someone who works with this medicine will take paranoia into great focus, right? So paranoia is a byproduct of not really being aware of what this medicine is capable of and what we're capable with it in conversation. It's been used in ceremonial rituals and rites and mystery schools and elysiums for forever, as long as we've written about cannabis. That's a powerful, beautiful herb. Heals in so many ways, in so many ways. It does so much for us, and it is a beautiful plant, and I'm really grateful that it's showing up a little bit better respected now in our modern context, which is beautiful. And as we move down into the increasing psychedelia of our plant herb category, we have lotus, which is wonderful. It's very third eye opening. It's very heart opening. The lotus opens like this. It's a symbol of enlightenment. It'll help you connect with that sense of yourself. We have iboga, powerful detoxer, right up there with combo, except on another level, I think. I know we have a few of you in here who love iboga. I am not a death dealer. I do not work with iboga, but I do have a very tremendous respect for it. I do know some hardcore shamans who work with iboga specifically and only. These are one of the stronger the medicines get, the more you realize that they're specialized. You really need to commit to being with these medicines. Another one of those where we'll end up today with is ayahuasca. I know this group is powerfully interested in ayahuasca specifically. I do work with ayahuasca. My partner is a maestra de ayahuasca. She was given that title by a 7th generation Shipibo shaman. She really knows what she's doing. She was a maestra before she went and saw this person who said, "You've been a maestra." She did not pay for that title. She channels, she does amazing things. To me, she is what a shaman really should do, which is intentional travel in between dimensions. Ayahuasca is a portal opener, first and foremost, and it is beloved for so many reasons: deep healing, deep cleansing, deep clarity, deep realization. First and foremost, it is an opener of portals to help you acknowledge your own interdimensional nature. We are all multidimensional beings. What we experience here in this life, in this plane, is such a small part of who we really are. And ayahuasca will help open our awareness to that. I highly, highly, highly cannot recommend enough to choose guidance when working with ayahuasca. It is a very strong medicine and takes a very strong leader to guide it. And it is, I love it, and I would love to answer any questions you have about it. And that's we're on the plant category. So, right, I know, Mark, you wanted a little clue when you're going to hop in. We're going to do lifestyle real quick, and then I'll be finished with you guys. So, if you have any questions, definitely send me them. Medicine, we're talking about plant medicines here, but the ultimate message is that you are your medicine, right? And medicine is whatever it is good for you, right? Poison is what is bad for you. Water can be poison or medicine, depending on where you're at, right? So, lifestyle, we can talk about your attitude as medicine. We can talk about your perspectives as your medicine. We can talk about your breath, your energy, and laughter. We've all heard that expression. Laughter is beautiful medicine, and it surely is. Compassion is powerful medicine. It heals the self and the world all around just simply by being with it. And really strong last note that shamanic traditions aren't about medicine. Shamanic traditions are about knowing yourself in the world, in the cosmos, knowing yourself as you travel interdimensionally. And the number one tool of a shaman is actually the drum. And the drum is enough to help you enter that trance state that helps you become more aware of a greater connection to your higher self, to your sense of in the infinite, to enter into that void space of creation and manifestation, to connect with that higher perspective, God energy, collective unconscious, knowledge of the cosmos, whatever it is that you're into. It doesn't matter. That's your, your nirvana, your samadhi, your heaven moment. We all have access to that all the time. It's always within us, and your medicine is who you are in the world. So we'll say things like animal medicines will say like totems, right? Oh, deer medicine is about compassion. Well, yes. What is your medicine, right? What is your medicine? And we all know those qualities that most align us with a sense of what spirit should be for us. And for all of us, this is unique and individual. But across the world, those qualities are often love, peace, joy, kindness, compassion, non-judgment, ease, right? All of these effusive, loving, giving, wonderful, generous qualities that make the world and our lives a little bit better place. And that is first and foremost the most beautiful medicine we can ever offer. And I hope this little conversation can give you a little bit more clarity about what other types of medicines are out there and what it would look like to choose to work with each one of these, and what is it that you're looking for that might help you find the right medicine for you, or maybe you'll suddenly realize why you've been feeling called to a certain medicine. I often meet clients who tell me, I don't know why I need Kambo. I just have to be with this frog, and I have to do it with you, and it has to be soon. And I've come to find through doing the work that I do that they really just need to let go of some heavy emotions. Well, that's my practice, So you never know what it is that you really should practice with until you really know what it is that you want. So find out what it is that you want first. And again, if you guys have any questions, I've so enjoyed being active in Plant Path group. On my YouTube video, I'm very active with answering questions. If you're coming from my Facebook group, I'm very active there. So feel free to leave questions. I'll be more than happy to continue to answer them. And I know Mark wants to come say hi to you guys. How are you doing?
I'll tell you, that was absolutely amazing, Kat. You are so well-rounded. Just you explained every one of those medicines just right
I feel
on.
like I could deep dive into almost all of these, but I wanted to keep it 101,
Right. I mean, you touched on everything, and the intentions are so important on these medicines, and the medicines are just the catalyst, and it's that integration and everything you put into it afterwards that.
Well, I saw something on your group, I think, that I loved. Maybe it was your group, and it was asking about why ayahuasca didn't heal me. And I don't actually, that wasn't your group. But the answer is that none of these medicines heal you. You heal you.
Mhm.
The medicines help
Absolutely.
you heal you.
Right.
And so that's why
Right.
it's so important to pick that intention, because that's how you can find out where you can get the most help from.
Right.
If you need help with your math, you don't go to an English teacher. You know what I mean?
Right. And this medicine's a process too, wouldn't you say? I mean, it's just not a one and done. This is a process. This
Well,
is a
like you said, with
lifelong
integration,
journey.
we do in my practice, even with something like Rambo, right? So much prep, so much work in the middle, so much integration. And it
Right.
goes on. It's not integration, we're going to talk for 25 minutes. It's integration, like I'm going to check in with you over the next couple of weeks. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
Because it's powerful what's available, but only if we do the work and let the medicines
Right.
help us.
It's just life changing. It really
Yes.
is a life changing thing. You're not who you are yesterday. It's just
Yeah.
every day you just grow and you learn. And if you did something, it's just a process. This whole
Yeah.
medicine journey is just beautiful. And
That's right.
people like how you explained every one of those medicines was just so spot on.
Oh, thank you.
Beautiful to listen to.
It is, my life.
Yeah, I could definitely,
I love
definitely see
what
that.
I'm really passionate about is, yes, I'm a medicine woman. This is what I do.
Mm.
But what I'm really passionate about is knowing the self. It's altered states of consciousness. This is why I'm so fixated on like the dream work program we were talking about, because it's about knowing yourself. It's about growing and learning. It's about evolving and, learning to love the self in the world, and to manifest what we want to create in the world, recognizing you are the creator. So these are altered states of consciousness, this deep healing, right? This deep transformation, deep knowledge of self, and deep evolution in life. These medicines are such a catalyst for all of that. It's a
Yeah,
powerful instigator for
yeah,
all of the work, but
yeah.
it is
Because we
part of the work.
we get so locked up in it. I mean, our brains come like a little bit plasticized over the years, and we just have to unplasticize them. I guess is a word I use because I
I
think
like
that's like
that.
psychedelics do that. I think psychedelics open up those neurons so you
Sure.
can refocus and think and just
And
progress.
experience is a great teacher. You can't unsee what you have seen. And
Absolutely.
so you see something and we ask the question, oh, but was it real or was it not? What does it mean to you? It's,
Yeah.
everything is real or not real. What does it mean to you? How can it change your life forever starting right now? And if it
Right.
can't, then what was the point?
Yeah. And ask questions. Ask questions. It's great.
Absolutely.
Especially on these medicines, ask questions. Well,
Oh,
you've been phenomenal. We'll put your stuff when I post this. We'll put your stuff up. I mean, Kat, you have been great tonight. So
yay. Thank
I
you so
really
much.
appreciate you. Really appreciate you a lot. Really nice connecting with you. And thank you, Thomas, for connecting us. Appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you, Thomas, out there, and Michelle for being
Yeah,
so sweet, and Mark for being
yeah,
so compassionate, kind, and welcoming, and everyone here in this group for being so wonderful. And thank you, honestly, for your mission, because this group is so unique in that everyone here really cares about their own personal growth, not just about getting high. They're here because they want to learn, and everyone that I've had the joy of interacting with here is so open to learning and exploring and growing, and that's what it's really all about, and
right,
connecting. It's
right,
powerful. And I love your mission of education. I love your mission of sharing. And
mhm,
that inspires me a lot. So thank you for having
right.
me here.
Thank you. And I love your mission of, you know, be careful of your practitioners.
Oh, gosh.
Watch who you're going to, study, research.
Mhm.
It's very important. There's too
So
many medicine servers out there not serving the
mm,
medicine in ethical
exactly.
ways.
It's truly unbelievable what I've been seeing, especially recently. And it's not going to stop, because thankfully, these medicines are seeing a rise in popularity. And there are pros and cons to all things.
Yep,
And part of the pro is more access, more awareness. Part of
right,
the con less is more in misinformation and
right,
misuse. And unfortunately, because when we are very open, especially in a psychedelic state, we also are more easily susceptible to be, influenced in a not so positive way. So it's so essential to choose someone that you want to work with. And I wish I wasn't so passionate about that, but I've seen what happens when we're not mindful of that. And I got into the environment thinking, oh, this is going to be great. We can share and love, and I'm going to learn everything, and I'm going to share everything that I know, and it's going to be wonderful. And that's not really that's smart. Now I've
Oh,
realized.
well, I think I'm passionate about that because I know the healing benefits of this medicine, and
Right.
when you throw that in there, it's not
Mhm.
that doesn't make it healthy. So that's kind of why we're here too. So we
I love
appreciate you
it.
much,
I
and we will
love what
stay
you're
in touch.
doing, and I'm grateful to be around. And let me know what I can do for you and how I can be of service to your beautiful community. Thank you.
Thank you. Much love, okay?
Always. Take
Ciao.
care.